Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Broly, a Saiyan with an incredible power, was born. King Vegeta saw him as nothing more than a threat to his empire, and an insult to have anyone stronger than his son. He made a decision to send Broly out to a distant planet, unaware of powers the inhabitants had. King Vegeta exiled Broly to planet Yardrat. His father Paragus followed suit along with another Saiyan. Once they arrived, they were surprised to find that Broly had been taken in by a group of natives. Neither of them can return to Vegeta. What will their fate be on this planet? Broly's life is changed now. Revenge and hope. What if Broly was raised on Yardrat?
Paragus rushed in, pushing through a group of natives, huddled around the crashed battle pod. In the middle was a young Saiyan, Broly. Without saying a word, Paragus grabbed onto him and turned around to walk towards his ship. But the Saiyan he had landed with yelled out, telling Paragus that he couldn't just return to Planet Vegeta. He was right, and Paragus knew it. What could he do? Where could they go? He didn't care. He just wanted to leave for his own sanity. He tried to start the ship, but the floating mechanism had been completely destroyed. They were truly stranded. This whole time, the Yardrat natives were simply staring at them. One of them stepped up, extending his hand out. Paragus reluctantly took it, and they were led to a chamber. There, a giant Yardrat welcomed them. Before Paragus could even say anything, the Yardrat introduced himself as Pybara and said that he knew of their conundrum. He told them that normally 3 Saiyans would pose a great threat to them, but the boy, Broly, possessed such an incredible hidden power and fortitude that they wanted to explore it further. They were welcome to stay there. However, they were warned that there were some moons that orbited the planet. They will have to remove Broly's tail while he was young, but the 2 other adults will just have to remain inside while the full moon happens. Paragus was skeptical, but he had no other choice at the moment. He needed their help. In exchange for residence, they just wanted to be able to train Broly.
Your boy has shown great resilience through his short time here, as well as immense power. We do not want it to go to waste. If you would, please allow us to teach him to control his ki.
Paragus agreed, and so their new life began. But before then, the Yardrats took a look into the 3 Saiyans. While Beats and Broly were simple cases, with no truly evil intentions, Paragus was filled with hatred. They knew this could be trouble for the kid, but wanted to give the father a chance. They also felt sympathy for Beats, as he didn't ask to be in a situation like this. They also informed the Saiyans that Planet Vegeta had been destroyed. The Yardrats taught Broly everything they knew. Beats and Paragus joined in on some of the sessions as well. Beats was barely able to learn much, except to teleport, eventually after a long time. Same with Paragus, but he didn't quite finish his training. There was obviously a lot of work to be done. Thankfully, the Yardrats were so knowledgeable in ki control that they were able to help Broly mentally, slowly but surely helping him understand his power while teaching him new techniques. Broly often had a hard time learning techniques, which would infuriate him. The Yardrats were always patient with him. Before they knew it though, Broly not only had an immense raw power, but also teleport, spirit fission, duplication, and size changing. It was all very impressive for a Saiyan who had previously no knowledge of how to even read ki. Broly was a curious one, since his power was tremendous. It was thanks to the various ki control techniques that the Yardrats were able to handle him and calm him down when he went mad. They truly wanted him to control his power. Sadly, it wasn't easy, and sometimes Broly would explode with rage. One of the times, he ended up killing some Yardrats. In a desperate move, Paragus unleashed the electric remote he had built for Broly, knocking the Saiyan down. Pybara saved Broly from the fall, but realized that Paragus had no way of changing. Pybara and the other Yardrats could have been able to restrain Broly, but it felt like Paragus just felt the need to hurt him. Broly, being so young, was very hurt by it. Paragus only saw him as a weapon. The Yardrats had to heal Broly, but in the meantime, approached Paragus.
You are no longer welcomed here. We have seen through your soul, and it is a dark one. One that does not have the best interests of Broly at heart.
What are you talking about? He's my son! My son!
We're sorry.
The Yardrats placed a hand on Paragus' chest and teleported him to a planet far away, leaving him. Paragus fell to his knees. He was once again banished, and once again because of his son. Perhaps he was wrong. Perhaps it was Broly he should have hated all along. He shook his head, and this feeling went away. He was already thinking of a plan. 2 years later, Beats went out to the broken down ship, looking for some supplies. He swung the old rusted door open and jumped back at the sound of a voice.
Are you okay, Beats? You look as if you've seen a ghost.
Paragus! What the hell are you doing here?
I finally learned to teleport all on my own. I was waiting to have you alone.
Are you gonna kill me?
Ha! No, Beats, you're going to help me. I want you to bring Broly up there. That's the planet I have claimed as my home. I will train Broly in ways those Yardrats don't dare. If you don't bring him tomorrow, I will have your head.
Paragus teleported away. What could Beats do? He didn't want Broly to be with that psycho, but didn't want to die either. He gulped. It took him all day to decide, and he finally decided to teleport Broly to his father, while on some routine scavenging. Paragus smirked when he saw the two enter his cave. Paragus had also gotten a little stronger from the constant training he did on his own. He was upset at Broly for daring to wear that traditional Yardrat clothing, but ignored it, and thus training began. Every other day, Beats would bring Broly to Paragus from Yardrat, where he was training to be a savage and constantly shocked. Beats hated every second of it. As he had grown to love the kid, time passed, and Broly had become a powerful warrior and very well in tune with his ki, but the Yardrats noticed changes. He had become more savage and had scars. Finally, one of the days, Pybara took Beats aside.
We know what's going on. We have seen the shock burns on Broly's body. We don't blame you, not entirely. You feared for your life. We did tell Broly he could seek out further strength if he so wished. But don't you think he should decide on his own?
Beats was left alone, with more to think about. That day, he took Broly over to Paragus. Broly was looking down at his feet. Beats gulped and took a step forward.
You're late. Come on, let's get today's training done.
I'm not letting you. We're never coming back here again.
What?
I was a coward. I should have never let you hurt Broly through this stupid training. We're leaving. Why, you little... I told you I'd have your head.
Paragus rushed in to attack Beats, but a loud boom echoed through the cave. Paragus' fist was caught by Broly. Paragus looked at him in fear, a golden sparkle twinkling on Broly's eyes. Paragus was thrown away. Beats sighed in relief, and the two Saiyans teleported away. Paragus stood up, severely hurt. He finally accepted it. Everything wrong with his life was because of that boy. He didn't need revenge on King Vegeta. It was a different Saiyan that was deserving of hate.
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back. And now back to our show.
Broly grew up and became extremely powerful, even without Paragus' training. The Yardrats took the initiative to counteract Paragus' tactics by giving Broly a good home to live in. Broly did seek out training and strength, but the Yardrats helped him out in a much more civil way, such as image training, or taking him out to the valley where Soba, a legendary Yardrat, lived. But the fateful day came when another battle pod crashed onto the Yardrat city. Broly and Beats were behind the Yardrats, uninterested, but that changed once the little aliens helped the man out. It was a Saiyan. They looked at each other and followed the Yardrats inside. Goku slowly opened his eyes and saw a wondering face over him. Broly tilted his head while staring at him. Goku just gave him a simple smile.
Hey, I'm Goku. Broly, leave the young man alone. He's still resting from the healing.
Goku jumped to his feet and instantly got on his guard once he realized that they had a tail.
Saiyan? Were you one of Vegeta's men? I don't want to fight. Vegeta? Calm down, son. We aren't gonna fight. You're a Saiyan too, aren't you? Yeah. Where am I? Let me explain.
Beats went into detail about Yardrat and its people. He also introduced himself and Broly, but not going into detail about how exactly they ended up there, or why. Simply that they survived the explosion of Planet Vegeta. Goku was much more focused on Broly and his strange key signature. Pybara soon arrived and welcomed Goku. He, along with the other Yardrats, would spend time healing Goku and helping him understand and control Super Saiyan better, as well as teaching him instant transmission. During one of these training sessions, Pybara let Goku know something.
Good, Goku. You have much more control over your emotions in this Super Saiyan state now. You remind me a lot of Broly.
Broly? Is he a Super Saiyan as well?
Not quite, but he does have a strange latent power hidden within him. He had trouble keeping his cool in the state, similar to you but in a much greater way. He still has some trouble, but is handling it much better than before.
Then it's settled.
What?
It's time to challenge him to a match.
Without much else to say, Goku walked towards Broly, head up high. He tapped on Broly's shoulder and smirked. Broly tilted his head in confusion, but Goku got in his battle stance. Broly smiled lightly. He was a Saiyan after all. Even if not a big fan of fighting, he was curious of what this Saiyan had to offer. The battle began through the abandoned city, and Goku was very impressed. Broly was easily able to keep up with him, even forced to use the Kaioken times 20 to catch Broly off guard, but was impressed to see Broly bring out even crazier techniques, becoming giant, multiplying himself, etc. It was obvious to Goku that Broly was extremely powerful both physically and spiritually, but he lacked proper martial arts training. This gave Goku an advantage, but not enough to overpower Broly. Goku suspected that Broly was not fighting at full power, and he was finally pushed into Super Saiyan. Broly's eyes widened. At this point, he had seen the form while Goku trained with the Yardrats, but never during a real fight. Broly was finally pushed back, even if just slightly.
Come on now. I know you aren't using your full power. Bring it on!
But at this moment, Goku knew he might have messed up. Broly punched him so hard that he broke Goku's arm. He crashed down in the middle of the spectating Yardrats. Broly was exploding in power, as if Goku's Super Saiyan had brought about something within him. Ki was starting to shoot out everywhere. Beats ran outside. He was already shaking at the raw power that Broly held, and his eyes widened from what he saw. He watched as Pybara tried to get close to calm Broly down. Nothing was getting through. Pybara resigned to try something that he hadn't done in a long time. Him and a group of Yardrats rushed in together, forming a circle. They put their hands in front and shot out a strange ring. This stopped Broly dead in his tracks and slowly seemed to drain him and calm him down. Goku was curious. What kind of strange ki control was this? Broly fell to the ground and Beats caught him. Goku and Broly were both healed back to full health, where the Z Warrior kept on wondering just how much power could be in that thing. He wanted to learn more from Broly and train with him, even surpass it. But the time came for Goku to return to Earth. He put on a new set of Yardrat gear and shook hands with Pybara.
Hey, Broly, Beats! You two should come by and meet my family and train a little with my friends.
I don't know.
We'd love to. Come on, Broly. This is gonna be good. We need a break. We'll be back, okay, Pybara?
Rather than take the Ginyu pod Goku had landed in, the Yardrats used parts from it to fix Paragus' transport. Thus, all three Saiyans left for Yardrat on the same ship. But far away, in a cave, the old Paragus closed his eyes. He could follow his son's key signature getting further and further away. When he had a chance, he would teleport to where he was, whatever planet they were going to. He was going to investigate it and find a way to get his revenge. On the way to Earth, Broly stood up, sensing something.
You feel it too, huh? Yeah, that's Frieza. I thought I defeated him for good, but it looks like him and someone else are on Earth now.
Broly grabbed Goku's hand to stop him.
No, not them.
Goku shifted his eyes for a second, and snap! He felt that too. A key familiar yet unknown. A Super Saiyan. Whatever he was, he looked like he was confronting Frieza. Goku sat down alongside Broly. Broly was getting a little excited, and without thinking, he simply teleported Goku and himself onto Earth. Beats looked back and saw them gone. He assumed that they had teleported to Earth, but he wouldn't find out until he got there. Broly was just wondering what this power was, and at the same time, the evil power of Frieza and King Cold drew him in. Thus, the two Saiyans in Yardrat gear teleported in front of Trunks, who was staring down at Frieza. Trunks' eyes widened when he saw Goku appear. He didn't know what to think. Should he be happy or worried? He realized that he'd changed the timeline at least a little bit by showing up this early to fight Frieza. But he then glanced at Broly. He had no idea who he was. Broly looked at Trunks up and down, but then at Frieza. Goku did the same. Frieza damned the world, threatening the Super Saiyan Goku. King Cold laughed. So this was a Saiyan that had nearly killed his son. To Goku's surprise, it was Broly that spoke up first.
I don't like them.
He then pointed at Frieza.
I'll start with you.
Before Frieza could react, he was punched up. There was a huge sonic boom that caused a wave of wind to push everyone back. Metal pieces flew out of Frieza, but he wasn't done just yet. He was about to recuperate, but Goku appeared right behind him and punched him back down. And just like that, Frieza was defeated once more. Trunks shook a little. Broly's punch had been so powerful, and realized that in the seconds where he had punched Frieza and the seconds where he had come down, Broly's eyes were yellow. This was no Super Saiyan. This was something different. King Cold cowered back, taking steps back towards his ship. Goku and Broly opened their palms right next to each other, creating 2 orbs of ki, and then firing them right back towards King Cold's ship, taking him and the whole Frieza force left with him. It was over. The threat of Frieza was taken care of much easier than they thought it would be. Goku powered down, and all the Z fighters ran towards him. He was happy to return, but Vegeta simply stared at Broly, and then at Trunks. This was a lot for him to take in. 2 new Saiyans, 1 Super Saiyan, and 1 that seemed even more powerful than a Super Saiyan? What was going on here? But Broly recognized the name. Vegeta, even the face a little, from what his father had told him about. But he shook his head. It didn't matter now. Soon after, Beats' ship arrived. Another Saiyan. Trunks facepalmed. This timeline was completely different than what he had been told. He would have to ask some questions to his mother when he returned. He took Goku aside and told him everything, and even gave him some medicine. Goku looked back at Gohan, who was playing with Broly. The two seemed to get along quite well, but he turned back to Trunks and promised him to take care of these androids. After Trunks left, and talking to his friends a little, Goku waved over to Beats and Broly, asking them if they wanted to stay for a little longer. How long? A little over 3 years. This time it was Beats that wasn't so sure, but Broly was excited. He really liked the people here already. Plus, they could just visit Yardrat whenever, right? Everyone left the battle site, ready to take on a new adventure. But hidden behind the rubble of the Frieza ship, another Saiyan watched carefully. Androids. Half Saiyans. This was very strange. But what Paragus wanted was right here. Broly and Vegeta. He would take revenge on both of them. He promised himself that. Our heroes prepared themselves for a new shadow ahead, not knowing that the worst is yet to come.
Get out of my way.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed What If Broly was raised in Yardrat. It's actually been one of my most fun what ifs to do, and I'm really looking forward to making new parts if this video does well, because I have some stuff planned that I hope you guys will like with Paragus and Broly. Be sure to check out my other videos, and oh, before I forget, while you're checking out What If Goku and Vegeta Went Back in Time Part 3, where they go to Goku's childhood, I forgot to mention in the last video, but shout out to Professor Chimp who helped me out in that video quite a bit. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's one of my favorite what ifs, and it's been doing pretty well, so be sure to check it out. Share, like, comment, and subscribe. Especially share if you want more parts. It really helps a lot. Shout out to these guys who answered the Dragon Ball question of the week last time. The Dragon Ball question of the week this week is, if you were a martial arts master in Dragon Ball, how would you teach Broly? What style? The turtle, King Kai's, the cranes, your own? Let me know in the comments down below and start a discussion. Anyways, until we meet again. See ya!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Smugstick, unless you want to be destroyed.
Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.